Hello, YouTube peers. This is Green Ray. Welcome back to another What Did You Miss episode. This is episode 3, and this is for the Twitch channel, Ray Team Strategy. So, to start things off, I do want to go over a little bit about what I've been doing in the card game off stream and on stream, a little bit of both. So, we have me building, lots of different decks. I might have already shown some of these to you. I'm not sure. Been trying out a variety of different trainer combos. Been trying out Pokemon combos too. That deck's pretty old actually. This one has just a couple of Guzzlords combos, Guzzlord tag teams, whatever. It's got the Reshiram in it, which hits really hard, blah, blah, blah. These things with the Dragon Energy works out really well. Well, in this deck, I only have the one copy. Anyway, I've been tinkering with a lot of different ideas. These decks can feel like pretty cheap for the opponent, I think, typically. But although in a lot of them, the Wyvern isn't really performing as well as it should. And so I'm not sure if it's because I'm getting to be higher ranked maybe in versus, or if my opponents are just, I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, yeah, or maybe I don't know what I'm doing with my decks, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, yeah, maybe adding the fire wasn't for the best. Anyway, I don't know why this Mew's in there. I mean, I guess he has another zero tree. It doesn't matter. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. Anyway, decks. I made so many lately. There's this Greninja deck where you just get some dark energy out and fight, and this has been performing decently, I guess, too. Actually, a lot of my dark decks are doing really well. This is actually 5-7, or 5 wins out of 7 games. That's really good, actually. This one's 11 out of 13, which is even better. This is my newest deck. I'm not sure if it's my best deck, but it might be. This one, of course, has Dragon Energies on Guzzlords. There's only 7 basic Pokemon, which is pretty wild. What makes this new deck so good, though, is the new tag team supporters that I got, red and blue. This is what makes it so much better, because it just piles on more energy to work with, and it's also another way to just, evolve the Pokemon. Oh, and this makes it really good too, Dangerous Drill. I've been winning some games because of it. In fact, we got, I'm going to show you guys real quick on Twitter. I went ahead and, I think I did. Didn't I? Oh no, I didn't do it yet. But we had to tweet it, I guess. I actually posted it just on Discord. That's what I did. I posted on Discord the pictures. So this is that's my standard deck. But there's this deck here with the Dangerous Drill. Oh, and this Malamar is doing really good too. And this Honchkro's doing good stuff as well. Pretty much everybody's putting in good work other than maybe the Galarian Slowbro. I guess I could have replaced him with another zero trait Wyvern. But for now, I'm leaving him in there. Anyway, yeah, so we have Janines and Underground Expeditions. They both do a similar thing. I'm just looking for specific cards. And the reason why Bills is in there is because he actually helps Max Elixirs perform better. If you have too many energy cards in your hand, you just throw them back. That way you can Max Elixir into them properly. And another thing too is Janine and Underground Expedition. They also benefit Max Elixir a bit because you can just choose not to grab the energies if you don't need them when you peek at them, right? The 4 cards that you only grab 2. I actually had a full art Lysander in this deck, but I traded it off today because it got a lot of. I got a pretty good deal out of it. I got a lot of shiny Pokemon, and I got some V Pokemon and stuff. Can't remember what all I got. I might have gotten a third red and blue. I'm not sure. Did I? No, not good enough. Yeah. Well, anyway. Yeah. So I edited the deck though. Yeah. That's why the screenshot, it was gonna show last edit 00 because I replaced the Lysander, but it should be fine. Anyway, so yeah, I made a lot of different standard decks. They were mostly Lapras decks or Decidueye decks. Now, honestly, I think I might have played more Decidueye than I played Lapras, but I'm not sure because I don't know how many Lapras decks I deleted or didn't look at. Actually, I kind of want to double check something real quick here. So if we go to the deconstructed levels, I guess if you want to call it that, you find any Lapras decks in here that I was playing as. There's more Decidueye deck. That one might be new or something. I don't know. Anyway, no, I don't think there was anything else. Unless it was under a new deck, whatever. Could have been, I guess. No, that's some old deck. Yeah, there are a bunch of old decks in here. Anyway, so, what was I saying? So, I'm really glad that I hung on to my Articunos such a long time ago. I had acquired some because I saw other people were using them and they were pretty effective. I didn't really have the cards to make it work in a really good deck, or maybe I did, I don't remember. But if I did, I didn't really use it for very long. Anyway, I acquired a whole bunch of Frosmogs, but turns out I only need like 2. And a viewer actually traded me all these Mantines, which is really cool. So I'm really grateful for that. Yeah, we've been doing quite a few trades with viewers here and there. I now have 4 Karina's Focus, but I'm not sure if I'm going to put all of them in the deck or not. I would have to figure out what I would want to take out. I may take out like a Bird Keeper or Avery, for example. I'm not sure. Peonia is working out really well. Like I am actually very pleased with this card. It works just like how Gladion probably should have worked. Like everything about it is really good. So I highly recommend this card if you guys are tired of getting prize cards screwed. This is gonna fix your problems. So I actually had a game where both of my Lapras VMAXs were in the prize, and so I couldn't compete with the opponent's Lapras VMAXs, so I was gonna lose. So it's like, okay, let's get out of there and throw in Peonias so we can actually grab them. Anyway, so yeah, this deck's working out really good. Not much else to say about it. Let's go ahead. If you guys have questions about it, just go ahead and stop by my stream and start typing away. Let's get back to doing some other things. So I was supposed to show off the highlights, right, for the week. Now, where were we? Alright, so these are recent broadcasts. As you can see, we don't really have too much viewers on some of these days. Like, when I'm playing RPGs, it's really messed up. Super Neptunia RPG and Zelda got me 6 views. Zelda and Super Neptunia RPG got me 16 views, which that was on Saturday. So, and this was 3 days ago, which would mean it was like Monday or something. So, yeah. Really kind of, unfortunately, very bad numbers. Compared to some of the other streams, which is unfortunate because I love RPGs, but I'm going to keep streaming them anyway because I feel like it might make for some decent YouTube content if I finally get around to finishing editing videos for YouTube for those RPGs. Well, I guess Legend of Zelda isn't really an RPG, but it is a story-driven game based on adventures, so it's somewhat similar to an RPG, but it's not really an RPG. Anyway, but yeah, Super Neptunia RPG is an RPG though. Oh, no, what was I saying? So we want to go through the highlights. Right. By the way, big news, Pokemon Unite finally came out. So that's really cool. So I will be playing that probably every day that I stream, at the beginning of the stream perhaps. So you might see QV here, Feria here, Mario Maker 2, and so on. These highlights. If you look at the past broadcasts, wait. If you look at the past broadcasts, see, it splits them up into chapters. So it's like saying Pokemon cards for like 2 days in a row, but I also played Super Neptunian RPG and Levelhead. Alright, and then here Pokemon Unite and Mario Maker 2. So what's going to end up happening is this icon here is just going to be Pokemon Unite every time for the past broadcasts. So it might look like I'm not playing other games. It might look like the only game I'm playing is Pokemon Unite. If you click on chapters, you'll realize that I am actually playing other games. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you, because if you, yeah, it works on feature too, though, thankfully. Yeah. So, but I think maybe if you click on home, it does not show that. See, isn't this weird? I think they should change this, because you can't tell that there's multiple chapters if you're just looking at my channel's home page. So make sure you go to the videos page if you're trying to figure out which games I was streaming. I mean, I sometimes I take it for granted. Sometimes I have, what is it called, consensus bias, and I just assume people are going to know things that they don't know. So I'm telling you guys now, so that way you know, so that we can keep up on what I've been streaming, so that way you can make sure you watch what you want to watch. But anyway, yeah, after you go to videos and featured and all that, there's also, you can click on highlights if you want to see this stuff that I'm talking about in the YouTube video. Now, where were we? Let's go check these videos out. Let's go over them, and now for this, wait, is this really, oh, so yeah, before I played Faria, I played some QV, I guess. Supposedly, I don't know. Well, anyway, actually, I don't think that's correct, but it doesn't matter. So let's check this out real quick. So there wasn't really too much to talk about here. I go through this portal, and then I get cloned. And then we go through puzzles without the penguin, but we go with our clone. There isn't really an explanation for why the penguin isn't coming with us, but the penguin sometimes doesn't like hanging out with us anyways, generally, so we can just use that as an excuse, I suppose. Now, at first it was really confusing me, right? Because yeah, like the facial expression like totally looked like an anime character, blah blah blah, whatever. Anyway, so when we were moving, it was just like this temporary thing where I control both characters at the same time, just like in Super Mario 3D World when you get the cherry power up. But after the introduction, it just goes back to normal play, as if like you're controlling two characters, like with yourself and the penguin, except this time it's yourself and the clone. So there wasn't anything to get too crazy hyped about, but I was a little bit fooled, taken for a fool there for a moment. And then I think I only played a couple of puzzles or so, and they were both really easy. I was messing around with the appearance, that's why I exited the land temporarily. So as you can see, I'm wearing different clothes and hair now. Or maybe I played like 3 puzzles, I'm not sure. Or maybe I replayed one. I'm not sure what's going on here, but oh yeah, I did do like 3 puzzles. I think, was there 7 of them? Or no, there's only 6. Yeah, they were surprisingly easy, the 3 of them. So hopefully the last 3 of the Frozen Land are harder. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's go ahead to the next video. So we have a Faria video, so this is cool. Now this might take a while for us to get through because this was a 5-hour video, and there's some stuff in particular that I wanted to sort of maybe talk about or show off in the YouTube highlight. Okay, so I was starting off with, okay, so I was ranked 9. Did I ever get to rank 5 by the end of the video? Oh no, not even close. No, I was just messing around with new decks the entire time. Yeah. Okay, just double checking. So yeah, so I wasn't climbing as fast as I would have liked with my flying stuff deck, so I decided to start building stuff. So I built like 3 decks actually, and I had to do a bunch of playtesting with each of them, and I was maybe doing some tweaks based on potentially some input from viewers. As you can see, I was making a blue-green deck. I might have made 2 different blue-green decks. I also made a red deck. Reds and neutrals and stuff. So I found some tough red decks, which was unfortunate. I was playing small guys, and I think there were a lot of Bloodsinger decks for whatever reason that day, and they were kind of wrecking me. Yeah, see, there's a Bloodsinger right there. And then, so here's me playing the red deck. It didn't go very well. I think I had some grandiose plans, but people kept playing these aggressive creatures, like the 5/3 that drops a 2/2, that like obviously like gets huge value trades against some of the creatures I was playing. I was trying to like go for harvesting, and they would go like super aggressive, like towards my orb and the fountain, kind of like land placements that I couldn't really deal with. Oh, and then there were people with these ranged creatures too that would do this kind of thing. So I was definitely doing a lot of struggling here. And then there was this Celeste card, and we started talking about Celeste and how it has haste and protection, how strong that is. And I decided to actually run a deck with Celeste myself. And so I think that might have been the deck that I ended the stream with. As you can see, I was tinkering around with a red-green deck as somebody flooded my hand with ruby fishes, so I ended up building a lake so I could start getting them out of my hand. I might have won this game, I'm not sure, but if I did, it was definitely pretty close. We should probably watch this particular game from the beginning because it's kind of interesting. I don't know if I won or lost, but it's probably one of the more interesting games either way. Okay, so this is pretty much the beginning. Yeah, I was commenting on how his Celeste attacked my orb instead of my structure, so then my structure was able to get my Ursus to finish off that guy. So I think maybe my opponent, like, if he had been playing ranked, maybe he would have been a little less reckless there. With that said, I'm not in an especially good position at the moment. I kind of overreacted to this a little bit. I was mostly kind of excited because the structure could take out the 1/1 no problem. I got hung up on the idea of not putting the lake next to the Faria well. But I guess really I could have just put the mountain above where the mountain is now. I could have put the lake there, and I could have just like moved the Ursus there if I really wanted to harvest that, and then just waited another turn to play the ruby fish. So I'm not sure if the mountain there is really key. So this Baron Thulgar, I believe he got value out of, and I misplayed and didn't get value from it, which was unfortunate. I ended up overdrawing somehow when I killed it. Yeah. So I had my legendary on the board that gets stronger and stronger. So he actually can be a decent counter against a Runing, but yeah, Bomb Slinger costs 4, so reduction of 4 cost on a creature would have been really good. So that was a very unfortunate misplay by my part. That might have cost me the game. I'm not sure if I won or lost this match, but as you can see, I'm in a difficult position because he has a forest right next to my orb. Thankfully, I top decked a Grimguard, which definitely helps to keep me in the game at least a little bit longer. Okay, so Baldurian was the reason I made this deck. So I drew him. So there's light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. There's hope. Wait, does he have 9 cards in his hand right now? No, he has 8. I think if you have 9, then you start overdrawing. Return to your hand at the end of the turn. So I think he had Runing. But yeah, I think he did continue to play him. But I think at some point he might have lost him. I kind of want to keep track of that. Kind of curious about that. So on this turn, I decided not to attack it, apparently, because I wanted to nuke his Emperor. I wanted to nuke his Emperor. His Emperor was harvesting. Also, it was killing my Ruby Fish, as well as, making my other guy weaker. So I didn't want him to get a free kill on my taunt. So I kind of had to nuke the Emperor. So the interesting thing about the hammer is it gets sent back into your deck after you use it. So I can hopefully rely on it a little bit to deal with. Oh, he has 9 cards in his hand. But one of them might have been Runing. Wait, let me rewind that. No, he has 9 in his hand before I killed Runing. So he did lose it right now, apparently. Okay. Somehow I thought he hadn't lost it. I guess it's because he was looking for cards or something. I don't know. Maybe he didn't think I could kill it. I'm not sure. Yeah, he doesn't have Runing. Yeah, that jump mechanic is pretty wild.
need to find a way to damage my Ursus twice or something. Ugh. Why did I add Ruby Fishes to my deck? Such a horrible decision. I mean, now that I think about it, actually, him flooding my hand with Ruby Fishes against my particular deck is rather debilitating because it makes it hard to actually use the draw on the power wheel and get good value out of it. I mean, like right now, Bomb Swinger would have been a perfect way to stop that thing from attacking me.
Yeah, so this is a really good point that I'm making here because I want to use draw on the power wheel pretty often, because if I do that, I can finish getting through my deck and draw up my Hammer of Destruction faster. Like, get the deck thinner so you draw it more often based on chance, blah, 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 whatever. I mean, because it gets shuffled in. It's not like it's at the bottom of the deck. Or is it? I don't know, whatever. I mean, it kind of was at the bottom of the deck. Don't ask me why, but anyway.
Okay, so I thought this might happen, so I was correct. So he actually damaged my Ursus, potentially unintentionally, which gave it +1 attack. Now I can Saber's Wrath it.
Yeah, so the jump damaged my Ursus.
But I guess it would have been worth it. But I mean, it's probably better if I just spend more Faria and just keep the Ursus alive at this point. So maybe I'll just do that. I don't know. Let's just clean this up.
So I was thinking about double nuking his 8/4. Was what I was contemplating.
So actually, another alternative is to just Saber's Wrath. I think that's actually a cool play. It's not my favorite turn of events, but it's not horrible. I do have Flame Burst in reserve, so we could do, I think, 11 damage.
Right, because 2 plus 2 is 4. So it's a 4/1 Ursus.
I'm down to 6 life, and I might have played all of my Gaia's Graces already. I'm not sure. Oh my goodness.
That's better than letting Ursus die. So that was a good decision on my part, I think. Not sure why it took me a while to figure that out, but thankfully I had 2 Flame Bursts, or else I was not going to be able to kill that thing. I was able to unleash my Ursus. So the neat thing about this Ruby Fish is he can kind of double harvest. The funny thing is, the opponent could have stopped it by playing a couple of planes here if he wanted to.
I'm not sure what to do next. I could buy some time with the Grim Guard, I suppose. It's not a bad idea, I think. I can draw a card first. Yes, we finally found the hammer. We use this, right? Yeah, I don't think there's a reason not to use it. Because we can wait another turn to play the Grim Guard, and then we can play it now. Alright, so my card costs less barrier than yours. I can stall with the Grim Guard, but I don't. Let's see here.
Now its stat line is such that the Grim Guard could take it out and survive.
Probably try to like find a way to win too. I guess we could maybe like +1 Faria, play like 2 creatures now, so just 1. Play a Palantir, and then play him here, I guess. I don't want to stray too far away from my board right now, because Rinne's still kind of a threat.
Yeah, I wanted to get that pirate out, because I figured I could get some pretty decent value out of it.
Maybe I'll just play a mountain here. He decided not to attack, that's interesting. I'm going to save my Saber's Wrath, I think, and do combat. So I'm going to have you go here. You can still harvest from that position, and sort of defend. It's not the best position, honestly, but it's not terrible. I was thinking about putting down another Grimguard. Not a horrible idea, but I could wait to do it. I think for now, I'm just going to play an Exalted Ogre.
So I wanted the Exalted Ogre because I was still worried about high health creatures being played and me not having a means of doing extra damage to them. Because Grimguard's only like 2. I'm not sure why I was being so aggressive about that. Maybe it's because I didn't want him like harvesting Faria or something. I don't know. At this point, maybe I can't really lose. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm at 6 HP, so it's kind of like up in the air as to what's in his deck. But like, it's not like he can run like 2+ flame bursts in his deck, because he had Celeste in there, which indicates that he has one copy of each of his cards in his deck. No more than that. Otherwise, the Celeste wouldn't have had haste and protect or whatever.
Yes. Okay, well, this guy has jump, which means, I kinda want to play the Grimguard here. She's a 6/6 dragon. Alright, I guess he can just stay and do this. Or maybe I should move. I'm gonna move him a little closer. Thanks for double looking. Yeah, because I have exactly 6 health and I might not have more. Okay, it's great. So he does the less keep. Okay, that's true. And his gifts to steal might be really helpful though. There goes my fish. That was harvesting fairy for me.
Yeah, I was nervous about him destroying my creature on the forest. So that's kind of why I moved my taunt over. And it looks like it was a good decision to move it over, after all.
Okay, well, I guess the first thing I should do is I should just have... Oh, I should just...
So at this point, I do have an opportunity to Decipher's Wrath is a thing, but...
Oh, I made a boo-boo. Oh, it's okay. So I'll move here. I was just thinking how convenient it would be if I could do this and keep this guy alive.
I could have traded the Ogre if I wanted to. It might not have been a bad idea.
Boo-boo here, I guess. I feel like he probably has ways of dealing with me right now, but I'm going to try not to worry about it. Let's just move towards his orb for once.
I was thinking about hitting his orb repeatedly, and then I could get more cards in my deck that way. That's kind of spooky, not gonna lie.
So I'm not getting more gifts because I used one on the taunt.
So this thing could theoretically finish me off. So I have to deal with it, and I have like 3 different ways of dealing with it. I only have 3 Faria, or else I'd have more, like being able to play a Bomb Slinger, for example. It's unfortunate because they don't do like only a single damage and be cheaper, but I think Bomb Slingers, didn't they might have used a cost 4, I'm not sure. Maybe they didn't. But they only have 1 hit point, which hurts their effectiveness. I'm gonna be right back. I think I might have left the burner on. Yeah, every once in a while I leave that thing on because I'm so distracted by something. The Gift of Steel definitely used to cost 3. I know that for a fact. I think it's good that they nerfed it. I think it was way too good for 3 Faria.
There's a pretty good chance he could nuke this, but then he might not have lethals. This game's a lot closer than it could have been, one way or the other. What's he gonna do next? What's he gonna do for 11 Faria? He's gonna like steal life from my creatures and gain 2 in the process. He's gonna play Radiance. He should be able to afford Radiance, right? I could kill it, I think, pretty easily. What is the new Radiance? There's 2 conversions. New creatures can't play next turn. Does that mean he can't attack too? Alright. Wow, that was such a close match. I'm glad you reminded me about Celeste. If he had managed to draw Celeste, who knows? Maybe.
Yeah, so that was a pretty close game. And then I went on to... I started playing a Variety Bloomers deck, and it wasn't... Or Variety Blue-Green deck. And someone made the suggestion to turn it into Celeste deck, and I'm like, you know what, you're right. Let's do that. So I think I went back to editing at some point and turn it into Celeste deck. When did I do that? Was it right about here? Yeah, it was... Actually, it took me a long time to come to this conclusion, apparently. I guess we could rewind the process of me editing the deck.
Okay.
There we go.
So, alright. A stand protect. Sounds good. Grab some other tools. 10 more slots. I mean, technically we could try adding Spirit Color, that's probably let's see here. Could run frost creatures. They're somewhat expensive, but I think they're probably still worth running. Alright, we'll put one of those in. An Apex Predator is probably fine, considering this deck is gonna run for the long game at this point. Put that creature in. What else might we want? I guess we could use Green Dragons. Magi Nada. I could probably play Farm, I guess. Kind of expensive, but I think this deck has a lot of ways to get Faria early, so maybe we'll grab Retrieve Everlight. Let's see what else we have. Oh, we could grab Spell Whirl. Spell Whirl would be nice, I think. What else? Leaping Fugu for no. Or no. Wait, where? Triton Diver. That's what I was thinking of. I kind of like Triton Diver. It's actually good. I mean, you can play it on turn, so I guess. Like it's worth the risk of the investment in the card, I think. Maybe we use Aurora so we can make something else bigger. Yeah. We have some small things like a Bloomfish, for example, that could make bigger. And do we want to go in Legend of Wonders? Yeah. Let's try it. All right. There's a bunch of other cards we could get rid of this turn, but we'll figure out what we want to move next. Actually, I don't know if I really want Apex Predator. This deck doesn't really build around it. It's kind of like a counter for other decks. Goat, for example. I mean, just we saw that guy get 1,000 battles. Oh, you know what might be even better? Ghost Executioner. Yeah. I like this card too, Polywog. I guess we could remove Saturday, although I kind of like it for this match. Late in turn 1 for this, I guess. Maybe we should toss out Monster's Fate. I think it's still worth keeping. It's kind of slow. I'm gonna go ahead and remove it, I think. See what that does. I do love the creatures. Wait a minute, do I have Rain of Fire? Oops. Yeah, I think I want Rain of Fish, perhaps. Whatever, let's just do both, I think. Which treasure should I get? What do you mean, which treasure should I get? I don't follow you. What do you mean, which treasure should I get? These are mythic cards.
For this Pandora deck that you just built, bro.
Well, that's sad. Alright, Skami Warrior, nice card. I might actually move it. No. Oh my goodness, Rogue. What an idiot. I'm gonna save it till later. I'm pretty sure I added her. Alright, so we do have Farm. So I guess we could consider okay, well maybe this counts as a launch. Let's see here. I don't know what I'm gonna draw next. I don't know whether to play Aurora's early. I guess we'll just play neither and just play a couple planes. Seems bad, but whatever.
So that allows me to put up a creature next to his 1/2 in theory on the following turn. If I could actually draw something.
Oh yeah, his deck is really annoying.
Because look at my hand, right? I have one that costs 10 lands, 1/4 and 1/6. Or requires, I guess I should say. And now my 3/4 is lined up with his 1/2 for him to get free shots on it, which is not ideal, to be sure.
How many events do you think he has in his hand? I don't know if it's worth to try to Rainy Fairy this guy. Anyway, this turn takes.
With that said, I don't remember losing this game. I think I ended up winning, perhaps.
I'm pretty sure. Moon Channel. This is weird. I might have had the advantage this turn, but
Oh, I drew a Celeste. That's interesting. So I took out his ranged guy, and then he quit.
nuke Structure of Life. It actually would have been an easy play. His internet killed me. His deck killed me. Wait, did he kill me? I don't know, man. I had a Tree of Life in the deck and Farm, which means I could have gotten Farm out, and Tree of Life would have been easy peasy. Farm would have done a lot of protecting me for sure. And then he fell for his Rogue Force, and then he wouldn't even deploy his
I
guy.
think that game did get cut short, but I'm not sure if it's because the opponent had a disconnection or if it's because he just quit. But either way, we'll never know whether I for sure would have won that or not, but it was looking good for me, I think, personally.
Oops. Oh no, I messed up. I couldn't control this turn. Okay, so here was my thought process. I was thinking I would dash into the ocean and then he would buff his Skami Warrior, but I clearly did not do that. So nowhere for him to dash to, so he wasn't able to get out of the way for the warrior to harvest. So sometimes I don't. Why is his turn being skipped? He didn't even play land.
Okay, this was kind of a weird game,
Can you go ahead and kill Bats?
Because I'm making mistakes and the opponent is making mistakes. I think he like literally went AFK and then couldn't get back in time for his turn. Which is unfortunate. I actually made another mistake. I thought the balloon fish would be able to go all the way over there to the other well. Just forgot that he doesn't have charge. I actually don't know if I win this game or not. It's entirely possible that I lose it, and I'm possibly maybe even tweak the deck afterwards. Yeah, this game does not look good for me. Like, it doesn't look like it's going particularly well. I do have Celeste though, and I do remember doing some pretty good stuff with Celeste in general, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Celeste was winning me games. Also, like, playing Rainafish against a guy that already played one Bloodcinder is a potentially catastrophically bad decision. And yet I made that decision anyways. Plus he has like 2 combat creatures still on the board. So that's another good reason for me to have not done this. So it'll be really interesting to see if I can actually win despite making such an enormously risky play and getting punished afterwards for it. I was running out of time on my turns. So the Blood Obelisk probably secured the game for him here, unfortunately. I would be very surprised if he managed to sneak out a win now that he's got his Blood Obelisk down here. Like I said, I don't remember this particularly well, but, well, actually, he doesn't have anything at the wells right now. So maybe I do make a comeback. I decided to block my orb with a frog, but that's going to kill the ruby fish, not that I care too much about it. Oh yeah, that's another good point. Where I put the frog on the left is not properly positioned. That's because I didn't have enough time to think about it. Our turns are timed, so we get precious little time to plan out what we're gonna do. I think that's the one thing that keeps me from liking Faeria more than I do, is the way the turns work. The early turns you get less time for it, which is fine. I think that's a good feature. But the later turns you don't get more time for, and when you build a complicated deck, it can be hard to have enough time for your turns. So one thing that's basically a big problem is it's like, see, the way that Pokemon works with its timed turns is you will have a timer for each action, and there's also a game match timer. So there's 2 different timers. So, and then there's also like an impatience timer. So there's like 3 timers. So for Faeria, the only impatience timer that exists is the timer at the beginning of the game, if that makes sense, where it's shorter than it normally would be. Pretty much is what's explained by what a patience timer means. Anyways, so it's better in Pokemon as far as the timer is concerned, so it's more relaxing to play because the timer is for each action instead of the turn. Also, the match timer is a good thing to include in my opinion, because the match timer, when it runs out, somebody just instantly loses. Now, I do think that the event timers maybe shouldn't be as short as they are. I think they're like half the time, and I think that's on all the timers, which is, so the impatience timer is shorter, and the action time is shorter, in addition to the game timer being shorter. So it's really hard sometimes to deal with the actions timer, and some decks are completely not viable as well thanks to the match timer. But it's still overall a more pleasant experience than playing this game with its timers, just because it's too simple, because it only has the because it has the turn timer. The turn timer, I think, is not particularly fair. I think if they had a combination, I do like the beginning of game timer though for Faria. I think that's good for those to be short. It's just I don't like complicated decks being screwed over if the player takes too long to figure the stuff out. Basically, that's my issue. So yeah, if they implemented a similar timer system to what Pokemon has, so that way we had action-based timing, I think that would be better. On the one hand, there are a lot of things that you could potentially do in this game, but I think it would improve the health of the game overall. You could try to make an argument that it wouldn't, but I would kind of disagree, basically. In Pokemon, it can get kind of annoying because you could actually wait around for 5 minutes or so for the other player to end their turn, because they can have so many actions per turn. But that's not very common. And anyway, I don't think he would have quite that much time being soaked up in Faria, taking action after action. And most of the time, I think I think that's all I have to say about that. Like, I think there's Pokemon tends to be simpler. It tends to be simpler than Faria, but depending on the deck that you build, you can make it more complicated than Faria. So Falcon Dive, the problem with the Falcon Dive is it just takes up such a small amount of value for the card draw. So that's why almost nobody uses it. So I was getting nervous because I was only at 7 hit points. I think I actually won this game, but I'm not sure. Like, he doesn't have very many cards in his hand. I think he concedes. I don't think he sticks it out to the end. I'm not sure. Look at this, he only has 4 Faria. Oh, I can't reach his creature. I'm not sure, but I think they have lethal this turn. Or not. Yeah, I would have had lethal, right? No, I did have it. I definitely had it, because, like, I forgot about the corrupt ability. Wait. Oh no, that never mind. That's a different creature. What am I saying? Okay, so that's what happened. I totally forgot about that. Okay, there's a flying creature that I was using in my yellow deck that gets +2/+2 when he steps on an enemy land. But that was actually the trooper, which ends up converting the enemy land to your own. So I think this was the last game that I played for the day, and I believe I picked up a win here. It looks like we might have got Celeste out relatively early, I'm not sure. Look, yeah, so I put up planes there so that way I could deploy the Celeste there and take out his creature. I can't play Frog Tosser right away because I need 6 lands and only have 3. Unfortunately, otherwise it would have punished her really fast. Yeah, I didn't want him to have the middle of the board, basically. Middle board is pretty valuable spot to have. Yeah, he turned my creature into 1/2. And then afterwards he buffed his creature to a 6/6. So that's the thing, right? See, like, if we just pause this real quick here. So I had to consider to building a land here so I could be closer to Azor. But the thing is, if I played my 3/4 there, then what he could do is he could move his Shara here, still be able to harvest Feria while idle, like if I play a taunt or something, and he could kill my creature here, and well, I guess he still wouldn't be able to reach my 6/6 from over here though. But if he gave her jump, I guess, because he's blue, he wouldn't even need to make a land here, if he didn't want to. He could jump in front of his orb, take out my creature, and then no matter where this guy goes, if he's right next to the orb, obviously she's gonna be able to attack it. So yeah, there's that. So I might have been concerned about him giving her jump. I mean, I know I like giving legendary creatures jump. I think it's pretty exciting. Maybe I should start giving safer jump. That might be pretty good. Anyway, that would require me to run blue and red. Not sure if I've ever built a blue and red deck. I have a little bit. To use like Ice Rock Behemoth. It's been a long time though. I don't know if I ever actually had a blue and red deck that I particularly liked. Ooh, look who's streaming. There's somebody streaming Levelhead. There's a bunch of people streaming some fun content, looks like. But anyway, we gotta keep checking out what I'm streaming. So ironically enough, him shrinking my 3/3 made it so I was able to get rid of her that turn. Although it was also partially thanks to Frog Tosser. Anyway, I have a lot of stuff on the board right now, so it'd be hard to believe that he would be able to win moving forward. So that's an Emperor. We got to take the Emperor out, or he's gonna shrink our stuff and kill it. So I was moving into position to take him out when he quit. That was the last match of the day. So that means tomorrow I will be playing the new Celesta deck that you just saw. I'm gonna probably have some fun with that. I might try to build some other decks just in case, for if that deck doesn't climb as fast as I like it to, so that way I could try switching stuff. I don't know. Like right now, I'm not particularly concerned about getting to 5. I'm just trying to like get like some good decks going, like some good and fun decks I wouldn't mind grinding with. And right now, that one seems fine. So we'll see if we hit a snag next week or not. But I do want to spend a little time, or I mean, snag tomorrow or not. I think I'm gonna try to play Feria more than once a week. I was planning on playing it again this week, but I've just been caught up doing other stuff. So, but yeah, if tomorrow goes well with that deck, then I could totally see myself playing it again later. It's just I want to avoid the situation where like I get frustrated with the timers, I guess. I suppose the deck that I was running wasn't particularly complicated. Like if I try to run a complicated deck, then I'm gonna run into issues with timers because I think too slowly of things. So that's kind of like my main issue with Fairy is the timer kind of like makes it harder for me to enjoy the game. But that's kind of like the only reason. If the timer was more humane, I guess you could say, then it would be absolutely the best card game to ever been built, for sure. Because it's a really, really good game. Anyway, just that one flaw kind of sullies it a little bit. Anyway, so I spent some time getting some first clears on some 3D World water courses. There isn't too much to talk about here. It's kind of hard to get this Super Bell in here. So it took me quite a few tries. You have to go kind of fast and precise, or you won't be able to get it without the pufferfish killing you. Koas was able to do it his first attempt, although technically he died right around here, his very first life, because he didn't try to get the bell in the first place. But after that, I think he like cleared again without dying, if I remember correctly. But I'm not really sure. Anyway, he definitely beat these levels like pretty fast and got like world record on like all 4 of them, as to be expected. I'm talking about a guy that got like 60 plus, like 68 or something like that for the Nuzlocke run, while I'm sitting at like 21 is my PB, like since the first day I started it. Like I don't know, I guess it's just that the game like gets really weird sometimes and just gives you lots of troll levels. And sometimes I just don't know how to handle the troll levels. So today was one of those days. Actually, I think I first lifed this level, perhaps. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah. Because it's like, it's kind of forgiving. Like, it doesn't screw you over just because you didn't understand what's happening. It was a very forgiving level. It was a good level. Actually, each of these water levels, none of them were troll levels from what I could tell. All of them seemed pretty polite, basically. So if you guys want to watch the entirety of me playing these levels, then make sure you go to my highlights page and watch them. So I got confused here because I didn't really understand what I was supposed to be doing, but the guy had a checkpoint right before it, so it wasn't really a big deal that I was dying. I was being kind of dumb and not realizing what we were supposed to do. But anyway, that was a level that Koas kind of understood right away what he was supposed to do in that room. So good for him. Yeah, we all have our moments of figuring stuff out or not figuring stuff out. It's not really something to go on and on about. But he kind of tends to do that though. Sometimes the streamers like there's something that bugs them and they just go on and on about it. And for Koas, it's puzzles. But anyway, But it's like if he could solve the puzzle, then he doesn't have a problem with it. But if he doesn't, then he gets upset. I mean, that's anybody, right? But sometimes he just won't shut up about it. It's weird. Anyway, where were we? So that was this video. So now we're checking out this one. So this is me playing Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. I never played it before. So first off, so I really liked this interaction between Link and Zelda. It looks like there was quite a bit of romance going on in this game, and it really came across in a few lines here and there. And then like the dad was kind of weird. He's kind of overweight, right? And yeah, that was strange. And then this guy is all weird too. It's like yellow lipstick and stuff. Not sure if he has colored contacts or not, but or like if his hair color is different. Anyway, and then there's this thing which is weird. It's kind of like an android, but kind of reminds me of a fairy a little bit too. And she's like kind of like a spirit, I guess, that lives inside the sword or something. It's kind of strange. So it gives it a magical sword. Anyway, that's the Skyward Sword, the Sword of the Sky Goddess, or whatever in the world. There's some flying around that you can do. You can visit some places. This guy, there's a bamboo place, and he's like chopping up bamboo. I don't think this is his place. He just comes here to hang out, so I don't know whose place this is, but maybe we'll find out sooner or later, and maybe we won't. I don't know. Then there's this guy who teaches us how to fight. And there's this place. This place is really cool. I thought it was interesting. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Final Fantasy VII. Then we have to go hunt down Zelda, which gets pretty confusing multiple times. There's this guy with no clothing, which is kind of an interesting character. He reminds me a little bit of the frogs from Naruto. I think he looks a lot like them, or they look a lot like him. I'm not sure which, but anyway, yeah, those like weird, like penguin like looking forest creature thingies are really freaky. I don't really like them, to be honest. So yeah, there was a lot to like be confused about for sure, and there's a lot to learn. Blah blah blah. There's a stamina bar that you have for like running and climbing and stuff. Anyway, I do have to say that overall, the game reminds me a lot of other Zelda games where they require you to learn a lot of stuff, and it's an action game at its core. Um, it's definitely more difficult than something like Diablo, I would think. Because in Diablo, you just kind of do a bunch of clicking. It's not really a big deal. But in this game, it's more complicated than that. And, like, yeah. It kind of reminds me of Mario 64 in a little bit, but it's harder than Mario 64. So, anyway, it's a game that's going to be pretty frustrating, and on top of it being frustrating, like, I wouldn't mind playing through the frustration, but what's been happening is, like, nobody's been watching. As, like, there was somebody ready to go to watch this at the start of my stream, and maybe I offended them somehow. Not sure if it was something I said when I was talking about the overweight dad, or I'm assuming maybe that was it. because they didn't start talking about the other guy with the lipstick or whatever until later. And anyway, I'm pretty sure whatever I said about the lipstick wasn't offensive, but I don't think I said anything offensive about the overweight dad really personally, but what do I know? Anyway, like, I don't know, did I scare a viewer off? Maybe. Either way, they didn't stick around for the stream. I had an average of 0.2 viewers. And believe it or not, on the day where I played Super Neptunia first and then this game, and the past broadcast shows just 6 viewers, we actually had 0.0 average viewers for that day. So literally nobody was watching on the entire stream. So I know I'm not really getting viewers for Super Neptunia RPG, but I'm definitely enjoying that game a lot. This game's okay, but I wouldn't say that I'm enjoying it a lot. Because, like I said, it reminds me, or like, a lot of older Zelda games in that it's confusing, generally speaking. So yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's got to be worth it to somebody, right? It's got to be either worth it to me or the viewers. For Super Neptunia RPG is worth it to me to stream it, I feel like. It's not worth it to the viewers, and that's the viewers' decision. That's fine. But as for this game, the viewers don't want to watch it, and personally, I don't particularly want to play it either. It only really gets frustrating when I'm trying to progress the story, basically, and I don't know how to progress the story. Or, like, I'm required to do something really difficult in combat, and I don't know how to do something in combat. Right now, I'm kind of stuck on where I have to, like, defeat a weird big spider, and I kind of understand what I'm supposed to do it, but I was kind of tired and wasn't able to do it. So next time I stream, like, I guess I could, do it. I could beat up the spider, but I have no idea how hard it would be, how long it would take me to do it. And I know the entire time I'd be trying to do it, nobody would be watching the entire time. So it's like, why put myself through that? Like, I don't know. Like, there's so many other games to play. I mean, if it was for the sake of, like, making another YouTube video, that would be one thing. But I still have so many more YouTube videos that I need to be making. Like, moments like this, I don't even really mind. It's what came later that was really messed up. In fact, I don't even think I was really bothered by anything during this very first stream that I was playing, and it was really the next stream where things got really messed up. Yeah, so, like, I'm actually, like, very close to a temple by the end of this stream, and yeah, there's the temple right there, and I figured out, I think, either at the end of the stream or at the very beginning of the next one, how to get inside the temple. And then after I got inside the temple, things just started getting really crazy, and then, like, I started getting really frustrated. There we go. Yeah, see, I got in at the end of this one, so getting inside it wasn't really too rough. But now that I'm inside it, like, I started getting stumped again and again, so. Anyway, so you guys, yeah, that was like over 7 hours, and I was hoping with the new game, me saying that I'm playing it for the first time, I thought that would get some appeal. I thought people would check it out, but they totally didn't. Um, like like, for me, if I'm playing like a story-heavy game, I usually don't want to watch it for the first time with somebody else, and if it's a game that I plan on playing. But if it's a game I don't plan on playing, then I wouldn't mind watching somebody I'm not sure if you guys are the same way or not. But I feel like Skyward Sword had a lot of old players, but maybe it doesn't actually. Or maybe a lot of the old players are also streamers themselves, and so everyone wants to stream the game. So maybe if I just come back to it, like, 6 months later, maybe we'll have an audience for it. But right now, there isn't one. So there isn't any point in continuing to stream it right now. Because like I said, there's so many other games I can be playing that I'm enjoying a lot. So it doesn't make sense for me to stream a game that I'm not necessarily enjoying a lot. Obviously, I don't think it's a waste of time to play it. I just don't think uh, it just doesn't deserve priority right now, is what I'm saying. If I had viewers on either one of those days, it would be a different story, but I didn't. So, moving on. So we had another highlight on the 17th, of course, me playing Super Neptunia RPG. So let's check that out real quick. So I was going through the forest, trying to progress the story. Doing side quests, I guess. Yeah. On this particular stream, I was a little bit stumped. It looks like I was going for defeating monsters. Did I even do the story at all today? Maybe I wasn't trying. Maybe I was just doing side quests. I'm not sure. Maybe I should rename the highlight. Looks like I wasn't really trying to continue the story, lol. Okay. Let's go ahead and edit the highlight then. Alright, so there wasn't really much to see there. It was mostly just me fighting monsters and wandering around talking to NPCs. Next. So this was on the 18th. This was 4 days ago. Looks like I was doing a daily challenge involving brown Pokemon. So I was using an older deck. I didn't even make any changes to it. We had a bit of chat this day, which was pretty cool. I think chat slowed down for some reason. Maybe my hype was too real for the whole, like, going for the full art supporter thing. I don't know. Anyway, we gotta come up with a more hype title for next time I stream the card game, I guess. Oh yeah, I was playing my Chandelure deck too. I'm not sure what all changes I've made to it, but I didn't add back in like Lucimane, or like I did at one point or another, but I don't think I played a version like that on stream in any case. Oh yeah, a viewer traded me the Guzzlord combo, so that way I decided to try to build a deck with it, which is really cool. People told me how to get Marnie, so I know. So you could get a code to get a bonus Marnie, so then you get another one from the verses, and then you only have 2, which is pretty cool. I was critiquing some new player's deck, and we made some trades. I was trying to help him out with some trainer cards and stuff like that.
I find it hard to believe that this tag team Pokemon's not one. He just doesn't really fit it. He just performed a Shauna on me. That's not so bad, I guess. It's not so good either. But
I was playing a lot of expanded this past week, but I did build my first standard deck, which I already showed you guys earlier with the Lapras.
so is the Pikachu, and hardly anybody plays that. I do think the VMAX is playable. I do think it is viable, so you might want to consider taking him. You just might need to tweak your decks a lot. There is a trainer card that might interest you. There are quite a few trainer cards that might be helpful for you. I wonder if I have any copies of these eventually. Salazzle for Cinderace. You know what? Let's give you a normal.
So he had some spare Cinderaces, so that's why he was willing to trade one. He had a lot of them.
Let's see what's in there. Let the mystery be dispersed.
But he likes the fire Pokemon.
Okay, so if I had used.
I actually have some extra Frostmoths that I can trade.
I could have grabbed Whitney from here, and after battle progressing.
This is the new supporter card that I like a lot. So what makes it so cool compared to Gladion, or wait, no, this is different. This is Guzzlord. What am I saying? Guzzlord is busted, but anyway. He is weak against Fairy Energy, so there's that.
Alright, so he used his GX tag now.
There were a wide variety of... oh yeah, this particular deck is me trying to fit in a lot of different stuff that the viewers traded me, and just seeing what works. So far I actually haven't been able to get Orbeetle to work in any deck. I'll probably end up trading them off eventually. I would try to make some grass decks in standard, but it hasn't been working. But my water deck is working just fine.
Dude, I can't even right now. Wait, bing, bing. Because it happens once,
so the timer was screwing me over.
Just a single turn, one game, then all of a sudden it's gonna haunt you that entire game, and I don't know why they decided that particular aspect of the alarm thingy was a good idea. Even if you want the player to stop.
Yeah, like, I do think that the Pokemon timer is better than the Fairy timer, but every once in a while it does really make me angry. Like, super duper angry. I think the main reason why is because of the sound effect. So after this game, I turned the Pokemon sound effects way down, so we wouldn't hear the ding ding so much. So it stopped pissing me off after that, pretty much. Anyway, yeah, I kind of forgot that was a thing. So yeah, as long as you turn down the volume, it's fine. If you don't, it'll like literally drive me nuts. Anyway, there probably isn't much else to show off here.
I don't like that. I mean, I could just, again, I don't necessarily start. I feel like it's. So he can plan in mind. Set. Okay, well. Return Guzzlord to the Seeker. No, shouldn't have played Alistair, so it's fine, I guess. Being very workable right now. I guess we're just gonna end the stream here. I would like to play the game out, but I've actually ran out of time. So it's fine, I guess. Alright, we'll be back later. Thanks everyone for watching. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, so this was a Sunday stream, so I didn't have enough time to finish that game. So I had to quit. So I don't know if I was gonna win or lose. Anyway, next highlight. So I kind of want to change streaming schedule, but it's so hard because of timing and stuff. Anyways, speaking of time, I need to finish up this video soon. It's actually getting kind of long and late. Where were we? So, that was this. And then we had it. Okay, this was the Zelda highlight where I was trying to do stuff in the temple. So Like the eyeball like being destroyed thing doesn't make sense. I guess it's supposed to be a shout out to the Mario 64 eyeball being destroyed, but in that game it actually made sense. So it took me forever to figure out, and I gave up and had to look at a guide in order to be told what to do. Um, yeah. So I'm basically in the area with the spiders, and I'm getting really angry because I'm trying to see the spider just keeps hurting me. I'm trying to get him to turn around so I can shoot him with the slingshot on his belly. Like I was able to turn him around before, but I couldn't do it anymore. And I'm not sure if it's because I was tired or if I just didn't understand. So what I may have to do is take a look at this highlight again and see how I did it accidentally the first time. So that way I can try to duplicate it. So yeah, it was a sad moment. I would have liked to have finished that up, but it wasn't to be. I was getting really, really tired. So I actually played this before the Zelda, I think. Perhaps, I'm not sure. Anyways, I actually was a little bit lost because I didn't know how to continue the story. I wasn't trying particularly hard to get the story, or maybe it was, I don't know. I was getting confused. Uh, but I guess a part of me was getting distracted. So these characters are just talking. There isn't a whole lot for me to comment on here. Um, oh, so this Blondie, she was acting like she didn't want us to, or she didn't want to help us. She just wanted to be Mrs. Selfish and all that. But when the orange-haired girl was telling her about like the story of what's happening, then she got all passionate and she actually did want to help us out all of a sudden. So, but it's only for her own reason. I mean, for her own selfish reasons that she wants to help us. But still, she's gonna help us, so it's fine. Um, so it's interesting that this particular character is the one that's the least eager to help. I guess you could. I mean, well, she gets passionate about helping, but it's not because she wants to. It's not because she's selfless, which is weird. Anyways, yeah, it's just I don't know. I guess you would call it an anti-hero, wouldn't you? She's an anti-hero, but the other three are actually heroes or something. Anyway, she sounds so strange in double speed. Like literally chipmunk voice. So then we had these different colored doggoos that we were fighting. They have different elemental weaknesses and stuff. Actually, from doing the side quests, we found a really powerful weapon for her. I'm not sure if this is the one, or if I was switching to another one just so she could learn some lower level spells or not. But in any case, like she was basically like doing most of the heavy lifting, so to speak, on my team because of the powerful weapon that she acquired from side questing. Um, I feel like I played this game one more time before uh, before yesterday, so maybe I did. I don't know. Like, I feel like I was inside well that area. Yeah. Anyway, we'll have to check that out in the next highlight or in the highlight after or something. Okay, yeah, the 20th. So don't ask me why highlights have chapters. Anyways, yeah, that I guess it gets confused or something somehow. So, I mean, I had noticed that I wasn't getting much viewers for these games, so kind of what my reaction is, if I'm enjoying a game but I'm not getting viewers, I just play the game more because I want to finish the game so that way we can get all the content saved as highlights and can actually start working on YouTube videos. Now, this dungeon was really interesting. It was like an underwater dungeon. And then there was another dungeon that we entered too during the same stream. It was actually less than 3 hours. So we actually had some decent progression here. Um, so this was a pretty cool highlight. Unfortunately, like the bosses were not like really tough. Because again, like I had done too much side questing because I wasn't sure how to progress the story. But I don't necessarily mind that. But I mean, if you do want a hard RPG, I wouldn't really recommend this one because it's not really very hard. Maybe it'll get harder later. But at least in the early stages of the game or wherever it is that I am now, it's not really hard. So, because I think I'm not sure how much. I don't know if I'm like getting close to my our characters transforming or not. But supposedly they do some transforming or something. Um, Oh yeah, we unlocked like a double jump ability, which was pretty interesting. Not sure how useful it is, blah blah blah, but anyway, it's pretty fun. Um, yeah, when your enemy has an elemental weakness to your attack, then it actually invigorates your character, which is a really interesting mechanic. So they just continuously attack sometimes. Anyway, it seems to work better with physical attacks than with spells. I guess it's because spells have a cast time. Anyway, that's that highlight. Let's go check out the Levelhead stream that same day. So I streamed extra early to stream the Neptunia, and then so that way at 8 I could stream Levelhead. But what I may start doing, I think what I might do is I might bump everything up 4 hours or so. So my plan maybe moving forward would be to play Levelhead and Mario Maker at 12 instead of 8. Because I'm trying to like change up the schedule and basically just make it so I get more viewers basically because I'm not really getting them. I'm just not sure how to do it right now. Anyway, so I was playing of some stuff from whoever it was, like daily builds. I probably I guess I thought about building a level. I'm not sure what I was doing. I guess I went AFK for a while. Probably like trying to fix some food or something, or using the bathroom. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so I was working at building a level. So I chose like a regular size box, and oh yeah, I built like the first room basically, and I decided to make it kind of like a hidden blocks room basically, and so that was interesting. In case you're wondering why I was putting those brittle blocks on the floor and then deleting them, it's because I was using the brittle blocks to measure. Although now I realize I could have counted glass, but or plus there's tiles there anyway. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, whatever. It just I don't know, it's just something that I do. Whether or not it's something I should or shouldn't do, it's debatable. But anyway, so I kind of like added some indicators for the hidden blocks, sort of. They might not be the most obvious, but it should be fine. It won't take players long to figure out what it means. Anyways, and so I set it up so you have to defeat a certain number of monsters to get through the door. I was trying to use a baddie eye switch, but it wasn't really working the way I wanted it to because of the blocks containing the enemies. So, because what ended up happening was, the baddie eye switch only registers the enemies that are outside of the blocks. The baddie eye switch doesn't register the others, so that made it kind of weird. Anyway, so that's kind of what the current version looks like. Don't ask me why the baddie eye switch is still there if it doesn't do anything. I guess it's just to let the player know they need to kill the monsters. I may have to change its channel or something, or I don't even know what I'm saying. Anyway, yeah, the baddie eye switch doesn't really do anything, but it's kind of just there. Blah, blah, blah. I guess, oh my goodness. I might leave it in the final version, even though it's redundant, I guess. Because the gate should tell you, right? In fact, maybe that's what I'll do moving forward. I don't know. I mean, the thing of it is, originally I was planning to make a daily build, and I was like, no, there's too many restrictions. I don't want to do a daily build. But at the same time, I'm probably going to build a level that's similar to my other daily builds. It's just not going to have the same restrictions as far as like what you're allowed to put in or what you're not allowed to put in the level. So, I mean, other than that, I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to make this similar build level to what I do with the daily builds. I just make it better, I guess, in some ways. And so part of making it better would be like allowing redundancies that don't necessarily make sense, just to make it easier for players that don't actually build levels or something like that, where they don't take the time to think about stuff in the level. Like, because I noticed one of the levels I was proud of, that was a daily build level, people were being really dumb about that level. And what I mean is, they would, trying to explain what was going on, completely lost my words. I think it's because I'm distracted by this level that we're watching here. Okay, so what was disappointing me about people's reaction to the level was... Oh, yeah. So this was the one where when the player picks up the power-up, the camera zooms out. And then there's an arrow... Or no, is there an arrow? Maybe there's not an arrow. But there's a gate that shows you have to defeat a certain number of enemies. And people just don't look at that gate. No, I'm pretty sure there was an arrow pointing to it. People just didn't pay attention. Anyway, I could have drawn more arrows, I suppose. I could have also made those arrows temporary, like only happening while the camera was zoomed out. So there's a lot of ways I could have made that a lot better. And one of the ways I was just thinking of that I could have made it better, possibly, would have been to just install a baddie eye switch, like next to like the signs talking about the block push or whatever. So that could have been like a redundant thing, like a baddie eye switch doesn't necessarily do anything. Well, but the thing of it was a daily build, so technically we didn't have access to baddie eye switches, so I was definitely limited on what I was allowed to do. but some of the options I could have done that I just hadn't thought about. Anyway, see, I definitely have some food for thought, and so I kind of want to like revisit ideas that I've done for my daily builds and put them into normal levels where I don't have the restrictions and see how people react to them. Um, see if what I'm trying to get the players to do is what they end up doing or whatever. Anyways, or if they end up struggling or something. I got some hard levels. I think at from this point onward, I I mean like the when it came to the viewer levels, I think I beat most of these viewer levels actually, which was good. Or maybe I only got like two or three of them. I only got like two people submitting if I remember right on this day. But I mean I was decently occupied. Um, although I, I mean this was 2 days ago. Like I think I could have used more viewers, but sending me levels, and I would have streamed longer with that. But it kind of worked out. But anyway, if I wait like longer, I think so. What's gonna happen is I'm not gonna be like streaming at the same time ED is streaming, because he's like a really good player, and as a result, he gets like a lot of makers to play their levels, because they know he can beat their levels, and so they like to make sure they show up there and send him their hard stuff and get to enjoy watching him play those. Um, as for me, I'm still pretty new, and even if I wasn't new, I probably wouldn't be as good as him. So, um, anyway, like I'm definitely not the best platforming player in general for sure. Um, like I'm not like the best gamer in general. So anyway, but these were still some pretty fun games. Or some pretty neat custom levels or whatever you want to call them. Excuse me. Oh, this one's pretty fun too. This one was a little bit frustrating, um, but it was worth the frustration for sure. Um,
To explain how this works, so the big issue with what's going on here is, oh, you already give you the extra height of that. Okay. Ah! Oh.
so yeah, this was parkour. I do have to admit, parkour is overall much more enjoyable in Levelhead than it is in Mario Maker. Um, with that said, I'm still not exactly parkour's biggest fan, but it is really convenient that there's a couple of things that's really convenient about Levelhead. One is you respawn like instantly, and two, what was the second thing? I'm not sure. I don't know. I lost my thought. Um.
We may have to move on. Oh, dude, it's
It was the buddy thing, the checkpoint thing. So you can have it's like really convenient to just install as many checkpoints as you want as a parkour level maker. So yeah.
that's gonna leave the root up, and then like manually do it.
So however much you think is a good idea, that's how many you can install. Whereas in Mario Maker, people literally have to do like double checkpoints and like beat their levels 3 times without dying. And actually, that's another thing, and that's nice about Levelhead is, as the maker, you can upload your level even if you're like dying. So the players don't get as obnoxiously good most of the time at their parkour levels in this game. There are going to be players that are exceptions to the rule, like the people that do tons of speedrunning and always have like speedrunner mode on, I guess. But there's something like that. Anyway, yeah, but
One thing I like about Levelhead is you never have to worry about running out of lives if you don't complete the challenge.
That's true too. Like Endless Challenge and Super Worlds, you have limited lives. I do think the Super World thing, having limited lives, is great. I do think it would be great if Levelhead eventually got Super Worlds, but I mean, until they get Super Worlds, I personally wouldn't necessarily want lives. In fact, when I first saw Endless Challenge in Super Mario Maker 2, I just like immediately thought that Endless Challenge was Super Worlds. And I was like, what in the world? What is this like ugly, land that somebody built? It's way too simple. Is that all you get in Mario Maker 2? They're gonna upgrade that eventually, right? Right? But it wasn't even a world. It was just Endless Challenge, and I was like, oh, well, that's disappointing. Anyway, I've never been a big fan of Endless Challenge. There's a lot of issues that Endless Challenge has. Um, for one thing, makers cannot really opt out of having various levels be an endless challenge. So that's kind of an issue because you get everything in endless challenge. Every single level goes there, and that's not okay because
Dude, did you guys see that? Oh man, I walked right off the platform. I was just trying to move the platform.
you're gonna get a lot of levels that just simply don't belong there. And obviously, there are going to be troll makers that wouldn't opt out. They're not fit for endless challenge levels, but at least there are going to be some that will, and that would be healthier for the game mode on the whole. Um,
I could have saved myself if I didn't actually that. That was not fast enough.
anyway, there are other issues that Mario Maker has too, but I won't get too much into them. But because we're actually going to be watching that highlight pretty soon here, maybe. Right? Wasn't that the next day? Yeah, I suppose so. I don't actually remember what I did. Um, I'm just kind of chilling right now. We're nearing the end of this particular highlight.
Ow, dude, why is he so big? Wait a minute.
Well, this level was pretty difficult. I think I went back to the daily builds for a little while because I think I ran out of viewer levels. Anyway, either way, I ended up beating that. Yeah. So, did I not click on this yet? I guess I didn't. I don't know. So I spent some time changing some decks up.
Oh, nice.
Well, I was trying to do some Kyogre deck stuff.
That would be
I
good.
don't think I managed to do anything fancy with Kyogre at all. Um,
Free energy.
I think I did a lot of trading that day. A lot of trading, deck building.
Okay. I mean, I could one shot him if I could hit him with my Lapras, but I just lost.
Yeah, this was me playing out my Kyogre stuff.
Yeah,
It didn't work out very well. There's not much to say about it. It probably wouldn't be very much fun to watch. But if you do want to see me fail a whole bunch, then you can watch these couple of hours.
Missed calls.
Me messing around with Kyogre.
I don't know, maybe this is just... I mean, to be fair, it was his ACMV deck. I don't know why I'm getting on my knees for him, but being wrecked by his ACMV deck. Deck for now. So we can nuke his stuff with the Lapras. So I either want to draw his Zacian or load up more energy.
So someone oh, it was a streamer I think actually traded me their ACNV for Necrozma from Necrozma V. Actually not sure which card is better to be honest. I think they're of comparable market price value, but I'm not sure. Necrozma might be underrated, but if it is, then it shouldn't be. But ZCNV is not as highly priced as it probably used to be. I think
What? He can smack the face.
ZCNV probably had a higher price, but after it became free on the Versus rewards, then I'm sure its price dropped significantly. Anyway, I actually wasn't around to get any copies of it. Otherwise, I would have 3 copies instead of 1. But I'm not really mad about it.
Okay, yeah, that was not too bad. That was okay. So the deck is, it might be kind of risky, the strats that we're pulling off here, but it kind of works. Okay.
I think I was pleased with Lapras primarily.
Okay, yeah, that was. Or no.
I don't know. I'm not even
The
sure what was happening. Maybe I was like exaggerating when I said something blah blah blah. I don't know. I guess the flow of the deck was okay. It's just the Pokemon were not okay. Let's just say that. Like, well, actually, you know what happened was okay. See, I had energy on the Kyogre, which was fine. So that's what I was commenting on. But in reality, what ended up happening was I would be able to set up like that in theory, but the opponent would have like a Mew just chilling on the bench, and like then like it basically removes all my hard work by just having like one basic Pokemon just chilling on the bench. So Mew has kind of been ruining Kyogre's day pretty much. So I did eventually figure it out, like at the end of that 2 hours. Like I actually had something kind of working, and I even made better versions of that later, but it didn't matter. So yeah. Anyways, moving along. So what happens on the 21st? That was just yesterday.
Wait, someone's at home.
Oh, we had a trade going on.
Graveler, that's not actually some of your Graveler, but I like it. It's kind of, but I want like.
I was trying to get Mantines, so then I think a
If
viewer offered me
more
Mantines.
eventually, I don't mind doing that, I guess. And then the cute Pokemon for sure. Make my chat box. I don't have any.
Playing against a Decidueye deck, I think I actually might have lost this match. It kind of got crazy real fast. And I started putting a lot of fire into my dark decks, what with the Cinderace. It was actually pretty effective, but I think it was beginner's luck. I was struggling with only one copy of Cinderace and Cinderace Max to actually draw them, so that way I could use them every game. Anyway, it was a pretty cool deck idea, but it needs some serious tweaking to be consistent, which I found out eventually. I've been making a lot of
We're gonna put trainers now.
somewhat successful dark decks, but I think if I were to try to take them to events, they would get stomped. So, yeah, I'm not sure. There's only like my newest deck maybe that I would be comfortable taking to an event and see what happens. I have no idea how often I would get past the first round, but if I could, like, I don't know, maybe 75% of the time, it might be worth to just start playing some events. Reshiram is another, like, inconsistent thing.
I feel like I should run off a patch.
Like, running into water Pokemon is kind of a big issue when trying to run fire. There's a Viridian Forest deck. I think I'd lose this match. Maybe not. I don't know. This looks like it might be a somewhat long game. I'm not sure. Maybe not. Oh, Solgaleo. I totally forgot that this card even exists. I think he shut me down with his Solgaleo. Guzzlord's kind of hogging the spotlight lately from Wybird. It's kind of understandable. Also, I've been experimenting with Reshiram, and he kind of hogs Limelight from Wyvern 2. I think I gotta decide, do I want to do Wybird or do I want to do Reshiram? Like, I feel like you can't actually do both in the same deck. Overall, I think Wybird's better than Reshiram, I'm not gonna lie. Reshiram's cool, and he does require less energy. But you'd want to make a different, you want to put them in different decks, I think. I started experimenting with some ideas for putting Pokemon onto the scene. Um, because my window doesn't go all the way from left or right of the Pokemon, that's why it doesn't also on the scene that you see for the video. So we have like my camera and like the Xerus background there. Maybe what I'll do is actually, while I'm playing cards, I might move the Xerus background more to the right so you can see the planet better. I think that would be a good idea, because the game is kind of blocking the majority of the planet from view. And if you could have more of the planet showing, that would be good. So Wailord is there so people can't see my hand. I was just putting it here mostly for just to see like what all this different stuff blocks, if anything. Honestly, it looks like my camera blocks practically nothing, which is good. And yeah, so there's some various things getting blocked a little bit, but it's not too bad. I think I'm okay with all this for the most part. Anyway, that's enough of that. Man, this is gonna be a really long highlight or YouTube video. Let's see, where were we? So that was actually 5 hours of Pokemon. Oh my goodness. And then we had a half hour of Mario Maker apparently. And then an hour and a half of Pokemon Unite. Oh, okay. Alright, let's check this out. I guess it's in order of highlight creation rather than in order of streaming. So basically, I just, all I really did was plan out the next Luigi Impersonators level. So I made Luigi Impersonators 1 and 2. They were red coin collecting 11 and 16 respectively. And for red coin collecting 21, I wanted to make Luigi Impersonators number 3. And so I established my plans during this stream. So that's pretty much all I did for the day for Mario Maker. I would have done more maybe, but we didn't really get any viewer levels. Nobody came in and dropped a level, so there wasn't really any point in dragging out the stream, I felt like. Anyway, I was super duper tired too. Like, I needed to get off for the week because I had been streaming a lot. I had pretty long, few streams here and there. And plus, like, I hadn't been feeling all that well physically too. And I actually had an accident in my room the other day. Blah blah blah. Anyway, but I'm kind of okay now. But I'm just kind of tired. Anyway, but alright, so that was that, and then the final highlight for us to review is Pokemon Unite highlight. So this was something I played yesterday as a reminder. It came out like yesterday or the day before. And we could play it, and it's really good. Like, so at the moment, like what I was doing today was mostly just playing characters that I hadn't played before or don't remember playing. As much as I could anyway. As soon as I got out of the tutorial and all that, and as soon as I'm gonna be able to play ranked, I'm gonna start playing some ranked. I mostly just kind of wanted to play Slowbro because I wanted to see how different he may or may not have been from the to the test version. He seems pretty similar. Anyway, I didn't notice anything in particular that was different, but I'm not going to say that there wasn't anything different about him either. I really wouldn't know. Cinderace was pretty fun. I actually liked him. So I liked two of the fire Pokemon for this game. I think I might like Talonflame decently. I just don't think I would like him as much as Cinderace though. So anyway, who knows? I gotta like. I feel like I actually, when I was doing the test version, I was a little bit slow to learn some stuff, like how to manually aim. But anyway, I'm not sure if the tutorial told us how to do that or not, or if I just didn't really care and didn't want to do it, or forgot about it, or what the deal was. But anyway, but like when you manually aim with him, you can use it to like jump away from the enemies if you need to escape, which is pretty cool. Which is going to be a valuable skill if you don't have a supporter on your team, or if he's just not nearby for whatever reason. I played some Garchomp. Garchomp feels pretty weak, although late game he might be strong, but I'm not sure if he is or not, or if it was out my supporter doing more damage than I was, or I think I was doing a decent chunk of damage. I'm gonna have to play this egg Pokemon, Eldegoss or whatever it's called, myself sooner or later. Whenever I get the chance, it would be nice to play it again. Or I mean, I haven't played it. I've just been seeing other people play it, both on my team and the enemy team. I want to see what it's all about. Just want to try to ascertain how strong Garchomp was or wasn't. I haven't really been spending time in the game trying to like evaluate stuff too much. Like, you get different options. Like, you get upgrades to your abilities. You can choose. You can think of it as like talents if you want to, from like Heroes of the Storm or Dota 2, basically. And that's like a cool way you can express some individuality by choosing different options. And you can also like choose what your Pokemon holds and what your trainer uses as an item too. Um, so it's a really cool game. I think it's great to just pick up and just start getting into like almost immediately. That like I don't think the learning curve is like particularly difficult compared to some of the other free to play games like League of Legends or whatever. And you can do a little bit of chatting too, but I haven't gotten used to the idea of doing that yet. Um, my impression of Machamp was perhaps somewhat similar to Garchomp, but I feel like maybe he's a little bit weak early and then later he gets stronger. Although I do comment, I think this might have been the character where he actually moves faster than Garchomp does once he starts evolving, so that's kind of cool. Maybe it was just my imagination, I don't know. Anyway, I think that was about it for that stream. Oh, and then I realized I had some daily quests or something that they wanted me to do, so I went back into the tutorial, even though I'd already done it in test version by then. Anyway, and that's it. So thank you all for watching this. This might have been longer than the other episodes. I'm pretty sure it was, but oh, and just right on time too. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching this.